Buckmeister, it's your boy Buckmeister, twice the nice that you are used to, Shablimson, and today we are talking about the Batman. So hi, if you're new here, my name is Buckmeister Cool from Meister Geek Media. I talk all sorts of geek media, from the comic books to superheroes, to anime, to sci-fi, all of that good stuff. So if any of that sounds cool to you, please feel free to tickle that subscribe button and that bell button so you never miss a video. So, Batman 2022. Jeez, it is so hard to do that voice. Batman 2022, Robert Pattinson's debut as the Batman. I first off and foremost, I gotta say up top, this was a good movie. I think they nailed a lot of aspects of Batman. They really nailed the detective aspect of Batman for people who've been wanting the detective aspect of Batman, but they didn't nail everything with Batman 100%. But I don't think that Pattinson's performance was bad. I think he was actually very solid as a Batman. People may be talking about his size and everything, but I don't know if you've ever seen like the Telltale games or all of that stuff. That Batman is not built like a brick house. So I think they kind of based their Batman for this movie off of the Telltale Batman, which is also a phenomenal series in its own right. So I do like what they did with Pattinson, and I also like how in this particular era they kind of did like a animated show Batman thing where it's kind of set in now's reality but also not. They've kind of tried to add like a timelessness to this particular Gotham. Like all the other Batmans, and I mean, we'll talk comparisons maybe a little bit later. Maybe I'll do a video on comparisons between, Batman Begins and this Batman, because they're both the genesis of the Batmans. But they did a thing like where they made it timeless. Like you can't really, identify the time period that this Batman is set in. Because yeah, they've got things like smartphones, they've got, modern technology, but they also got Batman using very retro technology with very futuristic technology. So there's a weird balance going on with that, and I think because Matt Reeves wanted to capture the essence of the animated Batman show a little bit in this iteration of Batman, I think they did it pretty well, in my personal opinion. Zoe Kravitz, baby, Zoe Kravitz, she stole the show for me. She was so good as Catwoman. I really liked her Catwoman. I mean, there was one line she said where I was just like, ugh. But outside of that, I thought that she was she was very, very interesting to me as Catwoman in this particular iteration of Batman. I love the interplay between her and Batman where they're bouncing off of each other. I really like that a lot as well. And yeah, her fight scenes, chef's kiss. Really love her fight scenes. Zoe Kravitz killed it as Catwoman. I dare to say, best on-screen Catwoman I have ever seen. Fantastic. I mean, outside of Anne Hathaway, there's not much representation in the way of Catwoman on screen, on live action screen. And then Black Gordon. So we got to talk about Gordon, played by Jeffrey Wright in this. So in case you're curious, I do have a video about the problem that I have with Gordon being black in this particular iteration of Batman. You can go look it up. Link in the info card. But I will say that taking my problems with the casting aside, he was a good Gordon. I think he functioned really well in this particular iteration of Batman. He's very much on Batman's side, which is weird but cool to see, because yeah, they do nail that aspect of Gordon where it's like he's just trying to keep the city together. That's all he's trying to do. And Jeffrey Wright plays up to that really, really well. He did a good job as Gordon, even though I have some issues with the casting, the initial idea. His acting was phenomenal. Getting to the Riddler, I like what they did with the Riddler in this. It's very Jigsaw, but with the aspect of Jigsaw that I enjoy, not the later stuff. I mean, I'm not a fan of the Saw movies anyway, but just getting back to this Riddler, I think that, the way that they did the Riddler and how they incorporated some of the traditional Riddler elements with all of these new elements that they were bringing in, they did a pretty good job of balancing him. I mean, he feels more like a force than a character in this movie, but it's still a very intimidating force. I mean, not as intimidating as the Joker was to me in The Dark Knight, but still, it's up there. like the other side characters, Penguin was really good as well. We get a lot of mob boss story in this, more than I expected, which was interesting. But yeah, Penguin also was really cool, and I also liked like his interactions with Batman as well. I thought that was a little bit of fun when you're seeing Batman chasing him in a great action scene in the car chase. Like the car chase in this, I thought was done really really well. Speaking of action, action was really good in this. I like how they had him fight in this. I like how he was doing his thing in this. Like again, for the Batman purists, like the fighting might not be what they really really want. Like they might want more of what was happening in BVS. I still think that the action scene was good. Pattinson held it down really well. I mean, there's people talking about they padded him out in the suit a little bit. I thought that he had a decent build, as I said before. And yeah, I thought that he carried himself well in the action. There was just like some moments in the action that I was just like, why would you do that? You sure you want to do that? Okay, so we're doing this now. Okay. But I still think the action was really great. But Batman gets shot way too much for me in this movie. You see it in the trailer, and it's just like it feels like they're trying to go for a grounded thing with Batman, but it feels like he gets shot a little bit too much for me. I'm just like, if this is supposed to be grounded, his ribs are supposed to be all colors of the rainbow right now. Because as much Kevlar as he's wearing, he would get bruised. Like, people have shotguns in this. It's just like, bro, you don't want to try and get out the way just a little bit? They did not have enough Alfred for me in this movie, though. I will say that, like, the Alfred scenes, they're not enough. They needed more Alfred scenes in this. That's one thing that I was kind of disappointed by in the movie. Like, the Alfred scenes that they have in this are not, they're pretty good, but it's not enough. Like, I wanted to get that connection. Like, the Dark Knight trilogy, you really felt the connection with Alfred. You really felt like how Alfred raised Bruce and all of this stuff. Here, they didn't spend enough time on it, in my personal opinion. And for a 3-hour movie, you could have put in some more Alfred scenes, in my personal opinion. Also, Pattinson's quote-unquote Bruce Wayne performance is going to be a problem for a lot of people. I can see, especially Batman purists who are like, I didn't like him as the casting anyway. I get what they're going for. This is a Bruce Wayne who's still super, like, if you ever played Arkham Origins, he's basically in that phase of his life. And in Arkham Origins, he was very much like, I'm not talking to anybody, I'm not doing interviews, I'm just here to be in and out, and he'd be telling reporters, your time is done, or whatever. So this Bruce Wayne, definitely, he's come from his training, he's still very fresh in his mind about what he's doing and trying to figure himself out. So he's not separated Batman from Bruce Wayne yet. They're basically the same person, and that might be a problem for some people, because I know, like, in the Dark Knight trilogy, and of course I'm going to make comparisons because this is very much got some Dark Knight trilogy vibes, but in the Dark Knight trilogy, basically as soon as Bruce Wayne comes back from training as a ninja in the mountains, he does his separation immediately, whereas I think this one is kind of following. There's certain continuities where Bruce Wayne is like that, but I do understand if people do have a problem with his Bruce Wayne performance. I get it. But all in all, this was a pretty solid movie. I did like this movie. I think that when it comes out on streaming, I'm gonna watch it again just to get some other clues and see if there's other things that I missed and stuff. There's a post-credit scene. I will tell you now, the post-credit scene is not worth staying for. If you're going to the cinema to watch this, I stayed and I sat there waiting for a post-credit scene, and there was no post-credit scene. Just know that, okay? Don't waste your time, boo. But those are my thoughts on the Batman 2022. What do you think, Meister Bill? Let me know in the comment section down below. Talk us to your boy. Have you no spoilers, please? If you do want spoilers, let me know. If we get enough comments talking about you want spoilers, I will do a spoiler discussion. But for now, we will keep it non-spoiler. Thank you very much. But do let me know your general thoughts if you have seen the movie, or how you feel about this whole Batman renaissance, if it's a renaissance that we're in right now. Talk it to your boy. Look at that! You made it to the end of the video. You are spectacular. Now, if you really like this video, I got another one up here. I got a playlist down there, and I got an icon you can click on to subscribe. Remember to ring the bell if you do subscribe, and I'll see you all in another video because Master Man's gotta be out. Peace!